Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are test driving a Kia Sportage LX Hybrid. This is the base model hybrid Kia Sportage. It is a two-wheel drive car. It's not the plug-in, just the regular hybrid. So 1.6 liter turbo, electric motor, battery, 227 horsepower, 258 torques. And it is a relatively nice car to drive. I'm sure these reviews won't go up in chronological order, but last week I drove a Hyundai Tucson, which is the platform mate to this car. The Tucson that I drove just had the regular four-cylinder engine, not the hybrid. And somehow I liked that one better. Definitely this Kia has more power, there's no question about that, and the hybrid powertrain does feel very refined. I give it high marks for smoothness and acceleration. The fuel economy has been a little bit disappointing in the few days I've been driving it. It hasn't really lived up to its EPA numbers. That 42 city, 44 highway has not been anywhere close to realistic, really, in my experience. The ride is decent, the handling is decent. Somehow I think both were slightly better on the Tucson. And you know, I like this car for the features. Like I said, this is an LX model. This happens to be a 2023, but the 2024s are going to be pretty much identical, aside from being, you know, $1,100 to $1,200 more expensive. But you do get some nice features on this car. It's got wireless Apple CarPlay. It has a digital gauge cluster that's not overly fancy, but it looks nice and does the job that it's meant to do. You get full LED lighting, you get rear parking sensors. So there are a lot of nice features to this car, but you know, obviously if you spend more, you get more. But new cars have just become so expensive that when I test one that's under 30,000 total MSRP, which this one actually is, it's about 29.5. It, like I said, it'd be a little over 30 if it was a 2024 model, but you know, it's like, wow, this car's inexpensive. It is kind of wild how quickly new car prices are increasing. But the value for money is there, and the fuel economy is still relatively good. It's just not quite as good as the EPA rating suggests. Kia does have a history of fudging their EPA numbers, so I hope that is not what they have done with this car. But I have no evidence that that's the case, other than the fact that when I tested it, it missed its target by almost 5 miles per gallon. But hey, you know, things happen. I'm getting a little bit of wind noise. I'm doing about 58 miles an hour right now. And it is slightly windy outside. You can see the trees moving a little bit. It's not hurricane force winds, but I am getting a little bit of wind noise. But overall, this is a relatively refined vehicle. The Korean automakers have made many leaps and bounds over the last however many years. You know, really I'd say 15 years, ever since the first Hyundai Genesis came out. They've just kind of been steadily stepping up their game, and I'm a big fan of both Kia and Hyundai products. They pretty much always impress me when I drive them, although, impress is maybe a slightly strong word for this one. Like I said, for some reason I liked the Tucson better. And I don't know why. Maybe I like the way it looks better. I think the Tucson did drive a little nicer, even though they're both built on the same chassis. And this one's faster because it's the hybrid. But, you know, this is definitely a car that does the job that it's meant to do. And it does look pretty nice. Both the Tucson and the Sportage are very distinctive looking with especially with the headlights. I kind of like that they have done that to make the cars stand out within crowded fields. I think that's pretty cool. Nothing overly special about this car one way or the other. It does what it's meant to do, and it doesn't offend, and that's about it. But I like it. And I think when it comes down to making a choice in this class, the compact SUV class is so crowded and there's so many choices, and none of them really are bad. I've driven a lot of the current crop of compact SUVs in the marketplace, and I wouldn't point the finger at any of them and say that's a bad car. So I think it kind of comes down to the little things in life. So if you drive one of these and, you know, it really feels nice to drive for you, for what you're looking for in a car, that's a good enough reason to buy it. If you really, really like the way it looks and you think the headlights and the LED running lights, which are standard even on the base model, look really good, that's a good enough reason to buy it. If you like the way that the digital gauges look, you know, the Tucson SEL that I drove, which did have a higher MSRP than this, had analog gauges, and these, even if they're not that fancy, are digital. So if that's a selling point for you, there you go. Fill it up. The one thing I will say, if you're gonna buy one of these cars new, and one of the selling points for you is that 10-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty, make sure to have all of your factory maintenance done right on time and have records of it, just in case anything bad ever happens. Let's pass this guy. Oh, this is no trouble whatsoever, because Hyundai/Kia will decline your warranty repair if you cannot prove all of the service. Hey, there goes another Sportage. Looks good coming down the road. And as you can see from that passing maneuver, very good acceleration. Quite a speedy car, and all speeds listed are in kilometers per hour. And I managed to get myself behind another truck immediately, but that's okay. That's the way life is sometimes. And I think there might be another passing lane coming up eventually, but no bother whatsoever. I can't think of anything to say about the Kia Sportage. I can't think of anything else to say. It's a nice SUV and it's affordable compared to most modern choices. But it's not really all that exciting, even though the hybrid is fast. I think it's got more power than the Honda CR-V hybrid, and it's faster in a straight line. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. The Honda's a little bit more refined. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. But you gotta pay more money for it. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And the Toyota RAV4's not quite as nice to drive. Bow-now-bow, but it's close. Bow-now-bow, but you gotta pay the Toyota tax, because for some reason people who buy Toyotas have no problem paying over window, at least where I am in Southern California. Do-do-do-do-do-do, Kia Sportage. Do-do-do-do-do-do, past the truck, going up the hill, I put my foot down, and the 1.6 liter turbo hybrid gets us moving. The car is quick, and I like that about it. Do-do-do-do-do-do. I wonder if I will leave this stupid song in the review. I don't know, I probably will, because this is thoughts coming from my heart, and it's as accurate as anything else that I could say about driving this car. I like driving this car, but I don't love driving this car. There's a difference between like and love. Sometimes it is just a fine line, but this car doesn't get over that line. Do-do-do-do-do. There's a Kia Soul in front of me. In a weird way, I'd rather have a Soul. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'm really gonna do this. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Have a good day and always drive safely. Leave me a comment about my stupid song. Wow!